Hey, Ron's Bass Videos here again with requests from one of my subscribers here for Love Is by Tommy Castro. Funky, funky blues in the key of C, as some people say, the people's key. It's fairly straightforward as far as the chord changes, as a lot of blues are, but there's some fairly fancy bass work in there. Most of it you can simplify just by doing the chord changes and beating on the root, but I'll show you what I interpret he's doing, especially on the bridge part, which has some like signature licks in there, I think. So the song starts out with the drum beat, and I think it goes 4 times, just the drums, and then you come in. You're basically going to play a couple of times. You're going to play 4 times through just the root chord, the C, and then you're going to play through the verse progression twice, which is C to F, the 1 and the 4 chord, and then the singing starts. And you'll notice every verse starts with Love Is, and when he does that, he's only plucking 2 notes, the octaves of the C on the 3rd fret and the 5th fret. But there's a ghost note. Part of the flavor of this is the ghost note before that, so it ghosts on A. And you can do it with the open or with the opening. I think it's easier with the open A, and I think it works fine, so that's how I do it. So it's alright, and that's just open A string, 3rd fret C, and 5th fret C on the bottom string. And that's pretty much how all of the regular plucking goes, and he does the same thing with the F, only it goes with an E. I don't know if he's playing a 5-string bass. I only have a 4-string, so but I think that sounds perfectly fine to me. So same idea. You're ghosting with the open E, then you're hitting the 1st fret F and the 3rd fret F. And you'll notice everything except for the very first time when he says Love Is on a verse, you're always hitting the low note, the high note, and the bottom note again. Yeah, so the only time is Love Is. To get that funky, he doesn't come back and hit the low note. So the verse pattern is basically 2 C's, an F, and a C. That's one sort of progression, and then he does that a couple of times in each verse. So a verse typically sounds like C, and then C with the other note, then to the F, back to the C. Alright, he does it a couple of times to sing the verse, and then there's the second half of the verse is so it's I'll do a little slower. So it's B on the 7th fret to its flat 3rd, which is the D, back to the B, A. So it's all in 5 and 7. I think a little vibrato in there is good. It meshes with the keyboard better. And then a couple of times on the open A to the B flat on the 1st fret, back to the root note C. And the timing is very funky, so you got to play with it. They call that a question and answer. All right, so it does that a couple of times. In the first verse, it just does that a couple of times, and then goes back to 2 rounds of just drums and starts the second verse. And the second verse is the same kind of structure as the first verse, with the C's and the F's. And then when it comes back on the second verse, and it does that same ending part with it, then it goes into the bridge. After on the second one, it declines down into an A flat. So it goes like this: 1 time through, and notice the stops, because part of the funkiness is you got to let it breathe, let it hear the drums in the gap. And then 1 more time. This is after the second verse, and then it's going to end with. Okay, so you basically, instead of just doing You're going. You're working your way down from a C to an A flat, basically. So a couple times on the C to the B flat, a couple times on the open A, and then 2, 3, and 4 F sharp G, and up you're trying to get to that A flat. So, and basically, as long as you come and resolve on that A flat at the right time, it doesn't really matter what you do in the middle as long as it sounds good. Okay, so that's how you start the bridge. That's how you get out of the end of the second verse into that bridge part. And then this is where it just gets just slightly hairy. Okay, so you're basically working your way from A flat to C, back and forth. So the lick is so the basic lick is 4 to 6 on the A string, which is your C sharp to D sharp, F, E flat, which is the first fret, and then B flat to C. And you can funk it up as you feel it if you want to double a couple of notes up. You know, again, ghost notes and double notes are part of the flavor of this. So so it goes from the A flat to the C, and then it makes it back the first time. Now again, you can do the fancy stuff, or you can just do that 3 times before the bridge ends. But I'll show you an alternate pattern lick if you want to do it. So that's the basic lick in the bridge. That's the basic lick. Okay, and then so after it does that, it makes it back up to the A flat like this. So just a couple times on the C, a couple times on the B flat, again coming back down to the A flat. Okay, 3, 1, and 4 on the top string. And then so you can repeat that lick, well actually he does actually repeat that lick twice in a row. So it's 1. Now this is where you can either do the same thing you did before or do this. It's hard to do it right in the middle, so let me play from the beginning and I'll just play that lick. Okay, so instead of just going, you can go do a little pull-off thing. So again, what you were doing is just going C, C, B flat, A. And alternatively, in the same amount of time, if you feel it right, you can go, I gotta come from the lick before. So it's like B flat twice, C, and then pull off on 3 and 1 on the G string and the D string. So I'll just play just that fancy lick. Okay, you've done everything the same, and then it's B flat, C, and then the pull offs. Okay, so I'll play it. I'll play that with it. Sorry. Okay, so the last time, so after that phrase, when he would do that pull-off lick, he does the regular one more time. Okay, so you're at after the second time through. This is the second time through is. You back up on the A flat and you do the same thing as the first time through. and then it's almost the same thing you did before. It's just twice on the C, twice on the B flat, but the end of that bridge, the fourth time through, is E, 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 G, 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 G. Just open E and G. So let me play the whole bridge section in a row slowly so you can hear it without the other music there, okay? So it's like coming off the original end of the second verse. So that's probably the hardest thing in the song. He does that, I think twice. I think he does it. Yeah, he does it there, and then there's a pause with the drums, and then the solo, which is over the verse chords. We'll get to that, and then he does that again at the end of the solo. It's how the solo ends before the last verse. So you don't have to complicate it like that if you don't want to. I mean, you could actually get away with just playing A flat to C if you really need to simplify it. So that would be the total simplified way. The second simplest way is just to play and don't do the pull-offs and just play that same lick. You know, so. Okay? So either way, as long as you're getting to the right chord at the right time, it'll probably work depending on what your musical situation is doing. And then, so after that part, then it stops for I think twice or four times, and then it goes into the solo, which the solo is basically the verse chords and that bridge. Okay, the C's to the F's and then the bridge thing. And then when that ends, then you get another pause with the drums for, I'm sorry, I think before the solo, I counted it out on the cover thing. I think before the solo it's 6 times. He changes it, like almost every time. It's either 2, 4, or 6. But, so after the solo, I think it's only twice that it stops. And you'll notice a couple times on the stop, the bass carries the C right when at the beginning of the stop section, and it just rides out and fades. And it just becomes just the drums. But anyway, so then, yeah, it comes back in after the solo with the last verse, just like the first verse. And instead of doing the long bridge after the last verse, then it rides into just an outro, which is just A to C. So it's like, it does that. Oh man, I can't get that lick in my head. I've been doing so many things piecemeal. Okay, and it does that. I just needed to play that other stuff to get into that lick. It does it the last time before the outro. Does it 4 times. Last time, and it goes down like it did to the A flat, except it goes to an A this time. So it's basically like a galloping end. There is some playing around and improv going on, but it's definitely not as essential here as it was during the bridge part, because it's not trademarked to it. There's guitar solos and stuff going on. So the basic spine of the outro is just, it's like 8 or 12 times. It's just A to C. And then when the song ends on the other vocalists all come in at the same time, and they say, I think they say "Love Is," and it just ends staccato on the C. So, a couple of improv things that he's doing, you know, just in general is on the C. You know, he's just kind of doing a little bit of pull-off work, and then he's also doing some climbing up from the lower notes to the A chord. That kind of thing. And you know, and if you want to try to pick off more exactly what he's doing, go ahead. But you know, this is definitely a song that lends to some improv on your part. So once you got the structure down, so I did put up a cover of this song, and I did flash my cards on it. And of course, you know, I'm happy to email you my tabs, but I'll put them up here in case you just want to screenshot them. I hope you got enough light to see them here. The light's a little bad, but I'll just put them up here. And my tabs here are they're pretty 99% accurate on what I'm doing. What I showed you here on the guitar. I did the tabs early when I was figuring the song out, so I may have improv'd a little off of them, but it's definitely going to get you in the ballpark. So, okay, well, thanks a lot, and if you have any questions, my email is at the end of the video. You know, feel free to email, but good luck and have fun with this song. See you next time.